It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
We all seem to have that inner critic inside our heads. I have a committee, the itty-bitty shitty committee. You know what I mean, that nagging voice, or voices in my case, that knocks us down and drags us down through the road of self-sabotage and self-neglect. A strong, positive sense of self-esteem is your first step to anything you wish to accomplish. Discover who you truly are, that gorgeous, talented, fabulous woman who deserves recognition and unconditional love. You know, the most beautiful thing any woman can wear is confidence. Here on Confidence in Bloom with the Divas That Care Network, I, Tina Spoletini, speak with women living in their own self-confidence about who they truly are, how they found themselves, and how they care for themselves. Today I'm speaking with Christina Yun Lee. With 15 years of expertise marketing and branding businesses ranging from automobile parts to skin rejuvenation, Christina guides you to find and hone your multi-passionate self to create a brand that truly represents you and all you do, so your messaging attracts the people you want to work with. Christina, hi. I'm so excited to speak with you. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, and thanks for having me.
Can you tell our listeners where you're calling from?
I'm calling from Edmonton. I'm in my home-based office, and we are in the western side of the Edmonton city.
Perfect. That's awesome. Can you explain a little bit more what your marketing and branding business is?
So for the branding and marketing part of the business, I help small to medium-sized businesses to show up to the right audience with the right messaging and the right presentation. What I notice is that a lot of the businesses start with the idea of saying, I want to make money, I have beautiful services, beautiful products, and I want people to buy. But they forget that in order for you to have a business, you really need to put out there what people want and need, not what you think they need. So finding out what people are needing and wanting and desiring is one part of a huge research process that you need to do in order to give them the message, give them the tools so they can come into business with you. Branding is what other people say about you when you're not there. And when people start talking about you, people talk about your services, people talk about your products. But in order to do that, you need to present to yourself in a way that they need you and they want you. So that's what I do. I help businesses to be presented in the public so people want to do business with them.
Right. How do you, obviously there's a lot involved in that. How do you serve your clients to bring them to the next level?
To the next level.
To the next level of what they're already at or what they're already doing.
Oh, okay. I help them with clarification. People usually treat the symptoms. For example, I have clients that say, oh, my Instagram followers are not growing. That is not really a problem. That's a symptom. Because if you dig deeper, you ask them, why isn't your Instagram followers growing? The response is, well, I'm not posting enough. Why aren't you posting enough? Because I don't know what to post. I don't know who my audience is. Then the problem is that you don't know who your audience is. You don't know who your ideal client is. The problem wasn't that you couldn't grow your Instagram your Instagram follower. So people need to clarify what the actual problem is and know what the symptoms are. Many go and want to fix the symptoms, but they don't dig deep into the actual problem. So clarification into figuring out what the problem is, what are the symptoms that you're seeing, how we can fix and nip it in the bud, like people say, is what clarification does. And that is key to take you to that extra level, to grow in your business, to move forward in your business and see results faster or actually see results.
That's awesome. And I imagine that's not easy.
It comes with a lot of questions and then answering. You start seeing a lot of yourself first before answering these questions. There are very hard questions that you need to answer. There are that you need to take to get out of your comfort zone to be able to see those answers and to go through those questions. So it isn't easy for many, and many avoid that. Reason why I think people cannot go through that extra level that they have to see the results they want.
Right. So you have to do like a personal development to some degree in order for you to fix your business, not just yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Christina, how do you define self-confidence?
Self-confidence for me is the ability to accept who you are and then loving that.
That's perfect. That's it's basic, but it's deep, right?
Yeah, because we have so many flaws. We create stories within ourselves that are so negative. But those stories are not told by others. Those stories are told by ourselves. Like we create our own negative story about ourselves and we start believing it. But even the ugly, even the flaws, even the nasty part, like you need to love it because that makes you, and you're the one that is judging, saying that it's negative. Others are not telling you that. So accepting who you are as you are is the biggest step that we can take, because once you accept who you are, then you can make progress. You can learn how to change that if you don't like it. You can learn how to make improvements on that if you don't like it. But you need to accept it first. So accepting who we are and then working from that to make improvements, changes, whatever you need to do starts with acceptance. And once you accept whatever you are, you can love it. You can feel compassion towards it. You can be kind to it. Sometimes you gotta be nasty to it to get your ass moving, but it starts from accepting. And once you know who you are, once you accept who you are, you just become confident because there's nothing else other people can tell you because you already told yourself all those nasty things. So you become confident.
Yeah, it's so true, right? Like we judge ourselves way before anybody else does.
Yes.
So true. What tips do you have? Obviously you're going to see this in your clients. What tips do you give them to being more confident?
That's a very good question. What I did for myself and what I did for my last few clients that had difficulties accepting themselves was that I love lists and I always make lists. And I think it's a very good visual So I told them to write a list of what they think their weaknesses are and their strengths are. And right beside it, to write the same thing, but what they were told their weaknesses were and what they're told their strengths are. And it's surprising to see that you have so many more weaknesses than strengths when you are the one writing, when you're making the list. And then the list of what other people say about you is the complete opposite. You have more strengths than weaknesses.
And we are
seeing
all
that
so
visual.
prone. Sorry.
Sorry?
Go ahead. No, you go ahead. You continue.
And seeing that list helps them become more confident in the strength they have, realizing that the weaknesses they thought they had were very little. It gives you ammunition because it's visual. It's something that you have to sit down and work through.
I love that. That is, that's perfect. So like I was just about to say, we are all so prone to believe our own judgments over everyone else's. And we tend to not believe other people's judgments. So writing it all down like that, I mean, when it's something obvious, like, like a conversationalist, someone who's really good at making conversation may not think of themselves like that. But as soon as they get people telling them, oh, you're so easy to talk with, you always have something to say and it's always so positive and uplifting, we don't see that in ourselves. But when someone is, if you keep hearing it and you start writing things down, you think, oh, yeah, maybe that's true. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
What do you think the difference is between self-esteem and self-confidence?
Okay, I need to think this loud. Self-esteem is, what is self-esteem?
Okay, so everyone has their own opinion or idea. I believe that self-esteem is the way you feel about yourself. Not necessarily about, like, confidence is your potential, what you believe in your potential. Self-esteem is more how I see myself, as in, how I love myself, how I care for myself, what I believe in myself.
I think self-esteem is the confidence that we can have in our own values and worth and abilities and expertise. Like, I know I'm very confident that I'm worth this much. I'm very confident that I'm valuable this much. That's my self-esteem. But having self-confidence is based on results. I have something tangible to prove it, that I can be confident doing this. So my worth is this much.
Yeah, that's exactly the answer I was looking for. Do you think you could give me 2 or 3 tips on how you could be more confident?
Yes. You can build confidence by doing it and doing it and doing it more. That's what I keep saying. They say practice makes perfect. It's not just the practice that makes perfection. It's the consistency in that practice. It's the discipline in that practice. You got to continuously do it. Once you do it, you get very good at it. Once you get very good at it, you become very passionate about it. And when you're passionate about something, you can become very confident very fast because you put your everything into that.
It's true, right? It's so true. Practice makes perfect. Why is
consistent practice?
Yeah. So where does your self-confidence come from? Is it like just from your job, or do you think it's just in general?
I think it's the inner voice. I think it's what I tell myself. My love language is it's words of affirmation. I lacked of that growing up. My parents put always such a high standard that if I brought a B, they said, okay, you can do a B plus. After a B plus, you can do an A. I brought an A. They said, oh, you can have an A plus. There's nothing above A plus. So once I reached A plus, the words of affirmation stopped. And it was a standard. An A plus became a standard. So I started craving a lot of that, a lot of words of affirmation, compliments, which I wasn't getting because the standard that they put there was so high and I already reached it. So you know what I started doing is telling it to myself. I would go in front of the mirror and say, hey, you do so good. Hey, you look so good. Oh, my mom actually thinks that. She just doesn't know how to say it. And if you think of it, it's quite sad. But once you start doing it, it really sticks. Because I learned later on that we are our worst critics. I learned that a lot of people lack of self-esteem and lack of self-confidence because they don't say those beautiful words to themselves. When I started seeing TikTok or Reels or YouTube videos where people stay in the mirror and they keep telling themselves, I'm beautiful, I'm worth it, I'm this, I'm that, I said, oh, I thought everybody was doing that. Because I started doing it from very little because I needed it. And it comes to that. You get to be confident. You get to love yourself when you talk kindly and beautifully and lovely to your own self first. That's how you build it.
I so love this. This is like, you said it was sad to stand in front of the mirror and tell yourself that your mom really thinks that. She just doesn't know how to say that. I don't think that's sad at all. I think that's absolutely beautiful. You know, because when we go back, your mom didn't mean to make you not believe in yourself. Your mom just wanted you to work harder. Right? So you weren't really wrong.
Yeah.
You know, but for you to think of this on your own as a young girl, I think that's amazing. I mean, you're the mother of two girls. You're going to know, you know, your kids are not going to suffer with, you know, that lack of self-esteem. If you talk to your kids the way you talk to yourself, your kids are going to know where their love comes from. I think that's absolutely beautiful, not sad at all.
When my kids.
So on that note, do you think then that we can fake self-confidence?
Oh, totally. There are people that are so loud that they dress very well and put tons of accessories and want to have the flashy brand names, and they think that that's confidence. Some people fake it. They name drop. They wear the good stuff, and they are loud, but that doesn't mean confidence, because if you're talking about facts and things that are very intellectual, you might seem smart. But once you become vulnerable, once you become more open about your feelings, you can tell who isn't confident, who is lacking of self-esteem, who is insecure.
That's like, I love the way you explained that, because that I feel the exact same way. But at the same time, I don't really consider it faking it. I consider it more confidence in that area of your life, right? Just because everyone.
But that's not self-confidence.
That's
not self-confidence. you have the confidence that you have material things. You're confident that you have beautiful clothing and accessories and nice shoes. But what are you confident about yourself? Like how do you value? What's the value and the worth you put on you as a person, as a naked being?
Right. So you're using material things to pretend you're confident, is what you're saying.
Yeah, material things like diplomas, things that people can achieve is not always what gives you confidence.
Right.
True confidence comes from who you are. Like it's a being, it doesn't come from having.
Right. You're right. It's more of a feeling than it is of having. I love that. I love the way you explained it. So do you think then self-confidence can lead to success?
I think so. When you're confident, I think people that are confident, and I'm saying this from my own experience, I think when I was focused on what I didn't have, or when I was focused on my lacks, I wasn't confident. And I don't mean lack of material things. I mean lack of everything, lack of energy, lack of time, lack of love, lack of friendship, lack of money too. But when you are focused on what you don't have and that you wish you had, you become very, very self-conscious, very insecure. So that scarcity mindset gives you insecurity, gives you doubt, gives you fear. But when you have a mindset of abundance, and this doesn't mean that you have a lot of money, but when you know you have the friends you deserve and loved having, if you know you have the partner you always wanted to have, if you know that your kids are the best kids in the world, if you know your house is the home you always wanted and dreamed of, if you know the food you're sharing with your family is what everybody craved and needed that day, you get so much energy and so much abundancy within you. Doesn't that give you confidence to show up in front of everybody else and say, hey, this is me. I'm so happy. I'm so content. I'm so satisfied with every part of my life. Reason why I'm so confident here, throw anything at me, I'm ready to take it.
Yeah. Yeah, I resonate with that for sure. I love that. So then why do you think self-confidence can be low?
Because of the bad stories you tell yourself. It's the negative stories you create within yourself. I used to think that way. Oh, I think she's saying that about me. I think she's thinking about me this way. It's what you think they think of you, but it's not true always.
So believing someone else or believing a judgment that may not even exist.
Yeah, believing in the stories you create about what they think they thought of you. or the nasty things you tell yourself because you're criticizing yourself.
Oh, I love that.
When I came to Canada, I realized that there is a huge culture here of insecurities because we deal with imposter syndrome, we deal with perfectionism, procrastination. They define what productivity means. There's so much definition, so much things that needs to be rebranded actually, that we start believing, and we put so much pressure on ourselves to be this perfect thing. And nobody's asking you to be perfect. Your husband is not asking you to be perfect. Your friends are not asking you to be perfect. Your kids are not. But you just continue to feed yourself with what perfection means to you. And when you don't reach that standard of that you put on yourself, you keep saying, okay, I'm not worthy. Oh, I didn't do enough. Oh, I'm not this or that. Things that you said about you were going to be. And that's detrimental for mental health. That's detrimental for your confidence. That's detrimental on how you show up, because if you keep being like that, you don't show up. You want to stay home. You want to be under your comforter and just sleep. You don't want anybody to see you. How can you be confident like that?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Wow. How confident do you think you are, Christina, to help other women in their businesses?
I think I can help women, not in their businesses only, but in many ways. My confidence is that, yes, you can come and you can talk to me about marketing and branding, but I'm confident that even if we don't get to work doing marketing and branding for your business, I will help you somehow, some way, to feel better tomorrow than what you felt about yourself today. That confidence I do have.
I love that. Can you tell our listeners where we can find you on social media?
It's Christina, without H, Christina.Yunlee. Yun is spelled Yunlee. Christina.Yunlee. That's my Instagram handle. Or you can also go to my website. It's ChristinaYun.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much for today. This was awesome. It's all absorbing into my brain, all the answers that I got from you. I love how you explain the difference between self-confidence and self-esteem. And, you know, your take on it is all so, it's just beautiful. I mean, every time I speak with you, I always think that you have such a, you know, beautiful way of explaining how you feel. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and I hope some of what I said resonated with some, and thanks for your kind words. I feel so validated now.
Oh, yes, you're a beautiful woman. Confidence in Bloom is a celebration of self-love, a confirmation that you're an amazing, desirable, brilliant, gorgeous, talented woman, even though you may not look like a screen star or a supermodel. The truth is, they don't even look like that. We offer unconditional love to our partners, our children, our extended family, even our pets. It's high time we got out of our own way and learned to unconditionally love ourselves. Chic definitely does come in every shape. If you want something to believe in, start with yourself. If you'd like to be a guest here on Confidence in Bloom and chat with me, contact me through Instagram at infobloomstyling or by email at tina@infobloomstyling.com or through the Divas That Care website.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.